In this video, I will be breaking down exactly how Rain was making $400 as an appointment setter and how we scaled him to making $3K a month in just 22 days. Before joining Setco, Rain was a uni student. He was gambling all his money away, he has no direction, and he just came out of a very rough relationship. He had no purpose nor the discipline. He was gaming every day with his friends when he got the chance, but he knew he wanted to make a change in his life because he couldn't keep on going with this path forever. So like any other teenager in today's world, he looked up so many ways of trying to make money online. He jumped from business model to business model, not finding the success that he needed from the very first few days. And what did he do? He gave up and he quit. After a lot of family members and his friends were telling him that everything was a scam and nothing that he was going to do was going to work out, he found out about appointment setting, a skill that would give him the fundamental skill sets of sales that he can take on to his future ventures. He started working hard, putting a lot of effort into it, but he was just capped at $400 a month. He was relying way too much on motivation instead of actually focusing on discipline. After we started working one-on-one, we solved all of his bottlenecks, and now he's just hit his first 3K month. Setter breakdown of Rain. In the very beginning, Rain was lost. This is a message that I was sending up to him inside December. And what we did was we transitioned this and he started posting up all of these pictures just by focusing on these three and four main things: time blocking, convo reviews, frameworks, constant improvement, data tracking, offer maxing, and we're going to be talking about how we can ascend and start hitting higher numbers. In the very beginning, Rain lacked discipline. And what we did to fix that was understanding time blocking. Most setters don't understand how important it is to actually work on the setting. Because let's be honest, your job as a setter is to set. That's the minimum thing that you can do. That is not high leverage. That is considered low leverage. So what you need to be doing is the time blocking, the convo reviews, seeing what you actually need to track and how you need to improve on your setting. People forget that. So what did we start doing? We started time blocking exactly what he's doing every single day to know how much he can set. We started doing role plays. Instead of just doing the DMs, we focused on learning after it. We did role plays with people inside the community. And what else did we do? We made sure that he did every single convo review from the closes that he did either last month or the conversations that he think he did shit in. Convo reviews, understanding every single question that he picked and understanding where did a lead drop off. Understanding which question we need to change inside the framework so we know how we can improve in the next conversation. This is an example of all of the closes that he did in January, all of the closes and the conversations and what he could have improved on. He built up a Miro board showing exactly what his framework is. I know you guys can't see this because this is a secret, but outbound framework, inbound framework, understanding every single question, because every single question and acknowledgement that you do inside the DMs have an intention, and people forget that. Every single time you get onto the DMs and you're asking questions to a lead, there's a moment where a lead can randomly just get off the DMs and drop off. How do we minimize that? We minimize that by understanding what's been happening before. We don't reinvent the wheel. Instead, we make small tweaks and we split tests to make sure that our framework is as dialed in as possible. After that, this might look like a lot for now, and for some of you've never seen this before, and that's a problem in itself. Data tracking and lead tracking is probably one of the most important things you can do as a setter. Like I was saying before, this is the extra inputs, the higher leverage inputs that you need to be doing in order to become the best setter inside your offer. What do I mean by this? This is an example of a lead tracker that Rain used. He tracks every single person that he's speaking to, tracking every stage of the conversation, knowing when the person last spoke. For example, inbound, outbound, did they come in from a different booking? Are they during a post-booking report? Or did they already book in? Did they come in from a CTA? Then we know what to provide back and do a feedback loop with our offer holder. The better content, the more CTAs, the different things that you give to your offer will make your job a lot easier, especially with nurtured leads. We talk about the conversation stages that we're in. We know exactly when they showed up or when the call date was. We know whether they closed or not, because then we know when to long-term follow-up. Tracking these leads and understanding whether they're DQ or they're qualified enough is the most high leverage thing. Because the longer a person is inside a sales pipeline, the more nurtured they're going to be. If you're texting people who are new followers, yes, it's good to book them on a call, but the likeliness of them closing is very low. We also track every single outbound. If you guys don't know this and you guys aren't tracking your outbounds, how do you know which outbounds work? Remember, the main thing about outbounds is variety and understanding that it has to be specific and relatable. We have so many different types of outbounds that we test. CTAs, outbound, content outbound, story outbound. We even have things like the Asian outbound, like what type of Asian are you? These type of pattern interrupt outbounds are the best ones to track. But how do we know that? Because we've tested it out. We know every single response rate in terms of 24 hours. 48 hours. So we know exactly which type of outbounds have the highest response rates to make sure that the next outbound that you do is the one with the highest response rate. It totally makes sense. We also have the Seco trackers. We understand what exactly from the EODs are we tracking. Is it the calls booked? Is it the pitch to book ratio? Is it the convo to book call? We all do this to make sure that we know the bottlenecks inside the business. We know the bottlenecks inside actual setting, right? For example, if the convo to book call is 12%, we want it to be 20. Why aren't they actually booking in? We can take a look at the structure of our conversation. We can take a look at the worst conversation that we have and fix the setting issue from there, understanding the difference between a good framework and a bad framework. We even have things like goal setting. Every single time in the very beginning of a month, I always tell my students to track their goals. We take a look at the AOV of last month. We take a look at the closing rate. We understand this, the pitch to book percentage, the convo to book percentage, to understand the inputs that we need to make sure that we can reach our goals. If you're just saying that you're going to triple or quadruple the business within the next month because you want to hit a certain target and you don't have any data to support that, how can you reach that? Data is the biggest leverage that you can be pulling, because data is the one that tells you what you need to do. How can you scale if you don't know where to scale in? How do you know what to fix if you can't track what the problem is? And that's why we always put goal stats. We always take a look at the data and the numbers that we already have. This is another example of a lead tracker that we have inside Notion. We track every single time which part of a conversation that we're in. We track the lead quality. We track where the lead came from, what type of content, so we can feedback that into the actual offer holder. These are the main things that I would say you need to track. First one being conversation to qualified book call. What does that mean? For every single conversation that you have, how many of them are actually booking in? The main percentage that you need to understand is that it has to be 20%. 20% is the standards that you should be setting yourself, because at the end of the day, if you are having so many conversations and they're not converting to a book call, you are just wasting your time. The volume doesn't matter if you're not booking anybody in. You could be having 100 conversations and only 2 book in. If you prioritize the leads that are qualified and warm, and you're having 15 conversations a day, but you're filling out 4 book calls every single day, that's a lot better than running 100 conversations. Qualified leads, tracking qualified leads that are inside the pipeline is so important. Very, very important. We also check up show up rate, right? Most setters think that when you finish your job is when you book in a call, but that's not true. Post-booking report is the main thing that you have to understand. Pitch to book percentage, understanding if your pitch is good or not. Are you giving mutual incentive? This is the main things that you have to be tracking. Even this, ORR. This is what I was talking about before. The outreach response rate, right? And obviously the followers that are coming in every single day. How many of these guys are actually ICP? What type of content are they coming from? This is very, very important. Don't think you just limit to the sales, because you are the first person that sees the leads. You are the first person who understands the leads that you're talking to. So you know more about the leads and about the content that they're coming from than your offer holder. You have to understand the feedback loop. And this is what we did with Rain. And he ended up making so much more money just because he did these steps. Next, offer maxing. You guys have to understand that no matter how hard you work, let's say we track data, we put in the inputs, but if your offer is shit, you're not going to be making any money. If your offer can't even reach 10%, how can you expect to make 1K? How can you expect to make 5K? You can't be making 50% of your business. And the whole idea is understanding which offers to get into is probably the hardest and yet the most significant play in how much money you're going to make. So what we did in the first 2 months with Rain, we switched him from the offer that he's currently in to an offer that's a lot better. We understand, like from here, the average order value that the offer has. The offer that he was in, 100% close rate inside January. The amount of qualified book calls that he had, it's very, very low, but most of them closed and the AOV was relatively high. And we understand this because we know, based off what I'm saying in terms of how to figure out a good offer, is number 1, offer holder. If your offer holder slacks and is not in it full time, you're gonna naturally slack, right? You're only as good as a person that you're working for. You have to understand that even with setter managers, if the setter manager is shit, you're also gonna be shit. If your offer holder is lazy, you're gonna be lazy. How can you expect to work like an A+ player if your offer holder is a C player? Right? You have to make sure this offer holder is hungry and putting in the inputs to make sure that you are reaching your goals and they are reaching to their goals as well. You can't just row a boat with one paddle, right? When it gets wavy, you need other people to make sure to support you and actually row the boat. You can do so much as a setter, but at the end of the day, you can't control the things you can't control. You need to make sure you can rely on your team, you can rely on your offer holder to posting the right content and to be posting CTAs and doing well in sales calls, or the closer doing well in sales calls. That's why I think it's the most important. Next, the second most important thing is content. You have to understand content is the biggest lever an offer holder can pull. That is also the biggest thing that you can do by supporting what type of content to post. Right? The whole idea is that content is the main thing that sells. It's a whole part of the marketing. If the leads are going through so much nurturing content or so much content that attracts them or speaks to them, naturally the leads that you're going to be speaking to is a lot warmer than people who don't know how to post out content. Your leads fully rely on the amount of content that you're posting in terms of the value of the content. How much does the lead actually trust the offer holder? These little things affect setting so much and how much money you're going to be making. Next, fulfillment. Offers with no client results. Completely bullshit. That's a scam. And people don't want to be buying from scammers. You have to understand people want to see the actual fulfillment. Trust is at an ultimate low inside the info space right now. And people want to see client results so they can trust you enough and see you as an authority so that they would buy from you. If you're setting 17 hours a day, but your offer holder doesn't have any fulfillment, doesn't post out enough content, is lazy, you're not going to make jack shit because it doesn't make sense. No matter how good a salesman is, it's the quality of the offer that sells the person. You're just emphasizing it and making it easier in terms of the sales process, so when they get onto the sales call, they close. Lead flow, not as important. Basically, Rain's offer holder only has a few thousand followers, but ended up making 30K last month. And the thing is, lead flow is good to have, but qualified lead flow is the most important thing. If your offer holder has 10,000 followers, but 80% of them are shit, you still have the 20% who you can sell to. And that's like what, 2K people that you can sell to, which is a lot. But if they have 100,000 followers and 99% of them are really disqualified leads, you're going to spend so much time speaking to people that you wouldn't even want to speak to. And you are going to be wasting your time. Followers is not a big thing, and team size is also not a big thing, but it's something that you can also think about when you do want to get onto a good offer. After all of these things that we've changed inside Rain's, this is what got him to 3K a month. But I think the biggest lever that he pulled is definitely the offer and the data tracking. Making sure that he's improving every single day, doing combo reviews as well, is the main thing that made him a much better setter. And because of that, he has a case study, he has the ability to teach other people, because like Einstein said, if you have the ability to teach someone and simple it down to, the simplest ways, like explaining it to a child, then you understand what you're talking about. If you can't simply explain something that you understand, then you simply don't understand it at all. And obviously the offer is so important. Now we're going to be talking about exactly how Rain is going to ascend. I talk about setting as a fundamental skill set to help you grow inside the future. Because now he has hit certain records and hit a certain skill level inside setting, he has the opportunity to move in so many different things. Management, closer, offer holder, or even growth up. And you have to understand that the main thing that I think Rain should be doing, and which he's doing currently, is transitioning into management in a current offer. He can move from either whatever setting he does to teaching the setter how to exactly to set, right? And that can be from a retainer like 2K, or it can just be 5% for an hour a day speaking to the actual setter. After he starts getting his actual case studies from his current management offer, he will start finding his own clients. And how does he do that? He leverages the case study, finds new clients, and he's going to have multiple skills that he's going to be learning. B2B closing, he's going to start posting out content during his personal brand, and then he's going to have an agency where he scales, moving fully into B2B. Imagine if you have a 2K retainer for 5 to 10 clients, that's nearly 20K a month that he can scale to. And at the same time, he's still doing what he wants to be doing in terms of learning new skill sets, closing, leadership, people skills, personal branding to scale, multiple high leverage things that he can be doing in the next few months and reaching that 10, 20K number. And that's exactly how Rain moved from a setter making $400 to now making 3K and hopefully turning into 10, 20 in the next few months. If I'm gonna be honest, setting is not a hard or difficult skill to learn, but mastering it is probably the hardest part. If you guys are looking into getting into setting, I'm gonna drop my video down below inside the description. Make sure you watch it. It's a full training showing you exactly how to start and how to land your first offer and start actually making money.